Well, I mean, in terms of the family business, the, if you were downtown shopping or whatever, your mother, probably would have dropped in to see my father periodically or whatever. And so, I remember, as long as, back to the sort of early 50s and late 40s, when, what the stores were like downtown and
Yeah.
what my uncles, or people I called my uncle, who might have been more property cousins, but, were directors of the firm, and they tended to work all in that, on the stores that we owned then, which were right next to each other.
Mhm.
One where the Atlantic place is and one where Scotia place is. We had stores in both those places.
Sure.
And those stores, so basically they operated as one unit. So many departments were in one building and so many in the other. And the divide was Ayre's Cove. And as you can see, there was Beck's Cove or Job's Cove, or, so all these coves tended to relate to the businesses that were there.
Right.
My earliest memories, or the excitement of it all, was, of course, there was no Harbour Drive at all. So there was only Water Street. And when you got the gaps between the buildings, you'd go down there and you could usually get behind the building then, and the people who were directors would probably have 3 or 4 or 5 places they could park, and they were on the wharf. But customers, customers and so on. I mean, there was only 4 or 5 places because the wharf was a working area,
Yeah.
and they would all have finger wharves going out into the harbour at right angles to the buildings, and almost all the merchants downtown, in addition to retail, had wholesale operations, and they wholesaled goods to other retailers around the island, and they would have schooners that would come to them and pick up supplies that they were sending around the island. On Water Street there'd be retail business, and behind that you'd have a wholesale business dealing with the various schooners that were coming in and going out around the island. And my father ran the wholesale business component for quite some time. And, he could name every cove in the island, and he could name the families that lived in those coves and also, and just from looking after that wholesale component.